My name is Shanna Brown, and I am the host of the GriefWise podcast. Did you know 1 in 3 adults struggle with unresolved grief? This podcast speaks to real-life loss with wisdom, warmth, and purpose. The GriefWise broadcast is a faith-infused podcast offering hope-filled, honest conversations for those navigating life after loss. Grounded in lived experience, clinical insight, and a belief in the power of growth through grief. Whether grief comes from death, divorce, disappointment, or life's unexpected turns, I help listeners process pain with truth, faith, and resilience, blending clinical insight, spiritual encouragement, and lived experience. GriefWise provides a space where healing is sacred and hope is always within reach. Hello, and welcome to the GriefWise podcast. I'm your host, Shanna Brown. Thank you for joining us today as we share in our grief stories. Today, we have Hope Polito with us to tell her grief story. Thank you for being with us today, Hope.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. When I met you, I was deeply touched by your story. And I knew when you told me your story that this is a story that needs to be told to many people. So would you tell us your story and how it all transpired and how long ago it happened, the relationship, and you know, basically how it all began.
All right. My story began on March 1st of 2020. My family and I, 11 of us, were traveling to Israel. And the whole COVID experience was not in play yet. And so we went, and I remember saying to myself, this was our third attempt to go.
To go to Israel? Wow.
To go to Israel.
The Holy
And
Land.
I happened to joke with my brother. I said, I'm going even if I have to go in a casket.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So little did I know, I almost did.
Wow. Wow.
So we arrived March 1st. We spent 12 days in Israel. The Israeli government, we were hearing little here's and there's that COVID was in play.
Was spreading.
Yes, and that it was Jericho had closed down, Bethlehem had closed down, and then we get a text from the Israeli government telling us that we had to leave.
Okay.
And so our planes were canceled. We had to read, and there's 11 of us moving.
That's a lot of people.
And I'd like to preface it with my husband did not go with us on this trip. He had some slight health issues.
Okay.
So after a long flight, we had to fly to London. Once we were in airspace, we were home.
Okay.
And so then we did what all Americans did. We went to Costco, we got supplied, and then on the 17th, I took to bed. Mm-hmm. My brother, my sister-in-law, and myself, the older people in the group. And I was pretty ill for 15 days. And my husband was trying to help me, what have you. And on April the 6th, he had contacted COVID from me. And so on April 6th, he collapsed.
Oh, wow.
In our restroom. And I had to, in our bathroom, and he's 6'2", weighs 280, so I could not get him up. And so I called 911, and he left to St. Joe's North. He was there for a day. I get a call from the doctors that they were going to put him on a ventilator, and then everybody knows the rest of that story.
Yes.
We saw it every night on television.
Absolutely. Can you tell us more about what happened with him specifically?
Once he was on a ventilator, they reached out every day, every morning, with 6-7 doctors saying his kidneys have failed. He's on dialysis. Then they call me and they would say he's had a stroke. Then the next day, and one person saying he's going to live, the other doctor saying he's going to pass away. Palliative nurses are calling me, you know, and all along he's on an induced coma. So we asked for 8 weeks. He was on an induced coma. So, and this is during the time we couldn't go into the hospital.
Everything was just
shut
blowing
down.
up. That was around the spring season of 2020 is
Oh
exactly
yes,
when
this
it was
is
the
hot,
worst.
hot off the press.
Okay.
Yeah, we were in that first. He was one of the first people to receive infusion, blood, plasma infusions of someone that had been contaminated with COVID, and it was experimental.
Yes.
They didn't, it was a novel virus. They did not know what to do.
Right.
In my case, they gave me a Z-Pack.
Yes.
And I had fever for 15 days,
Yes.
nonstop.
Yes.
So going back to him, I went into the house. They called me in. I garbed up, and
It's okay. It's okay.
I knew that that this could be our goodbye, And but they took him off. They took him off of the induced and coma, and he didn't wake up for another 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And when he did, he's a very OCD personality, type A personality, and they allowed me to FaceTime. The nurses allowed FaceTime, and he looked horrible. And the first thing he said was, "I love you."
Oh.
And then he said, "Did you pay the bills?"
Oh my goodness. Oh.
And that was one of the factors of letting him go, or save his life.
Yes.
Was the fact that if his mental capacity was still there, how could we do that to him?
Right. Absolutely.
That was the children and I decided that if his mental capacity was still there,
Right.
then we would not do the palliative steps. So in the time that he was there, on top of everything else he had, he contracted Guillain-Barré.
Oh, yes. I heard of it.
And Guillain-Barré seems to be more common in COVID patients at that time than the medical field, would share. It was kind of a backdoor secret that these patients were getting Guillain-Barré, and so then he's paralyzed on top of everything else.
From the waist down?
Almost totally from the neck down.
Okay.
It affected a lot of his left side, really odd, left side, left hand, right foot, right leg. But in time, and they couldn't treat him for it because he was dying of COVID, and the treatments for Guillain-Barré are very, very hard on the body. So they decided not to do that. So the results and the repercussions of not treating it is what caused the long-term condition that he's in today.
I remember you were telling me that basically you have a health person that takes care of him every day.
Yes, I get it 8 hours from the insurance, 8 hours a day. I'm the night shift, so it's very hard.
Yes.
It's hard.
And this has been since 2020 that
Yes,
he's been in this state.
It's been our 5th year, April 6th.
How has this impacted your life? Would you share with us how this has impacted you and your family?
Yes, the kids, the kids have been wonderful.
You have 2 daughters, correct?
No, I have 2 sons and a daughter.
2 sons and a daughter.
The oldest and the youngest, which is the oldest son and the youngest is the daughter. They both help a great deal. And for me personally, I love going to church. My son-in-law's a minister,
Okay.
and with Grace Family Church.
Oh, wonderful.
And
It's a great church.
It is. It is. He's the pastor of the 8th campus, and
Okay.
it's called Suncoast.
Okay.
But there's so much like women's support groups that I can't go to.
Yeah.
You know, I work 2 days a week, but I have coverage for that. But never do I have a day that I could say I'm going to be able to take some time for myself. You
Yes.
know, without having to plan, without having to.
So it's been a big stressor and a strain.
Extremely stressful.
On your life.
Extremely. I'm very strong, but sometimes the strong have their moments.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was looking at some statistics from COVID, and 26.6 Americans have been injured because of COVID.
Wow.
And 1.36 million have been disabled.
Yeah,
I did not know that statistic
it's a big number.
until I looked it up, and I had no knowledge of that. I know people passed, and I knew people were, you know, injured and disabled, but I had no idea how many. So that means that there's 1.36 million disabled people in your shoes right now that are
Right.
living with someone from, you know, the COVID epidemic.
Yes. And if it wasn't for our faith in God and how He's brought us through.
Oh, of course.
He's brought us through.
Absolutely. Yes, I
God's children are never left for wanting.
no, they're not. They're not. And I know that I was reading, you know, through some of your material that you sent us, and this is basically like the loss of a future and a dream for you.
Yes. We were world travelers before this.
Tell me about that.
Well,
Tell me about the good times with your husband.
we've traveled, we've been to Australia, Egypt, we did all of Europe, Scandinavia, China. We did 21 days in China.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. 21 days in China.
Yes. And South America. We had some Australian friends that we would meet wherever in the world, and then we would travel with them. And Australians are infamous for taking a month or 6 weeks off.
Right.
So we did Australia and China in that one trip, 6 weeks. So yeah, so traveling is gone because he needs me there. You know, he
Yes.
needs me there.
Absolutely.
And
Your future plans are, you know, that's all
and
changed.
the plans of so many people. I remember going through those couple of months when he was in the hospital, and I would watch television, and I don't know if you remember the Broadway star Nick Cordero and his wife Amanda Sloot.
Okay.
And I mourned for them because they were a young couple, and they had a year-old baby, and he died, and they ended up amputating both his legs. And
From COVID?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And so I'm thinking, you know, who am I that God spared my husband?
Yes.
And yet this young couple was struggling. And then about a year into it, she wrote a book. And it was like I was living
The words.
whole thing over and over again, word for word. It was incredible how her story mirrored mine.
And did it give you comfort and relief to be able to identify with someone who's walked the path?
Yes, it
As
did.
you-
But I felt we're older and we've lived our lives, you know, and they were just
Yes.
starting. So there's almost like survivor's guilt, if you would.
Yes, absolutely. There's always survivor's guilt in a family where we're still going, and you know, like
Right.
I've experienced that myself with the
Exactly.
loss of a daughter, and
Exactly.
you know, she only got 18 years, and you know, we have that same emotion, so it's very real. the feeling of, why am I still here? Why them? Why not me?
Right. And I always refer to Nancy Reagan's summation of her long goodbye to President Reagan, and that's how I feel. It's a very long goodbye.
I wrote that. I saw that in some of your writings, and that really touched my heart that you wrote that. So much so that I shared it with my husband. I said, it touched my heart. It's like a long goodbye.
It is.
So the day in, the day out, what sustains you? What keeps you going?
I'm always in the Word every day. I do a Bible study online. I pray a lot. I always have the Lord in my background. Mm-hmm. You know how you pray from time to time and you don't even realize you're praying, or you're singing a song of praise. I wake up sometimes singing those praises.
Yeah. Well, the praises that we give to the Lord, they comfort us, knowing that He knows exactly where we are at that given moment. Walking with us. And to come back from actually being in Israel, and you were probably on a natural high.
Oh, yes.
I've been to Israel, and it's the Holy Land, and
Yes.
you feel, especially as a born again believer, we feel the presence of the Lord. We know, this is where He walked, this is where He wept, this is where and it just touches your heart. So you're on a natural high, and then to have, you came home, and then it's like the bottom fell out.
Everything crashed. I feel like the waiting is the hardest. Where is this going? What, how much time? Lord, are you going to lift this from me? And today I was reading in 1 Samuel, where Saul was going into battle, mm-hmm. and he was waiting for Samuel to come to give the blessing.
Yes.
And Saul went ahead and sacrificed without waiting on the Lord. And we all know how that story ended.
Right.
So
doesn't go well for Saul.
It didn't go well for Saul. So that was my point, and the Lord just said, it's my timing, not your timing.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah. That was just this morning.
Just this morning.
Yeah. It's my timing, not your timing.
It reminds me of, the Lord gives us just enough for today. His mercies are new every morning.
Every morning.
Just for today. I know when we lost Brooke, every day it was just today. Just today I'm going to get up, get out of bed, find my purpose, brush my teeth, keep walking forward, and know that the Lord somehow in all this is working it out for my good, our good.
We don't always see Him, but He's there.
Exactly.
We don't always feel Him, but He's there.
But He's there. He's there. And so in the day in and day outs of seeing your husband, are there times where the joy, do you find the joy when as you're walking every day through this, do you feel the joy in your heart, knowing that the state that He's in? So
Yeah.
what gives you that joy when
Well,
do you find it?
I see it when the grandchildren
He
come.
smiles and
oh yes,
and he
does.
knows.
He does. He's starting another phase of dementia,
Okay.
and so sleep deprivation sometimes is a piece of that.
You squeeze hands. What is his communication?
Oh, he'll speak to me. He can speak. He can communicate.
Okay.
But not always in a coherent way, But he does communicate, and sometimes his mind. Dementia is a crazy capturing of the mind. The other day we were watching television, And he loves to watch cowboy movies.
Oh, okay. Like a John Wayne movie.
Yes, all of those. And I kept on saying, I can't imagine, who is that actor? I can't make him out. And he looks at me, he goes, George Papard.
Oh, okay.
And I said,
okay.
How did you pull that out of your brain when I couldn't? But, it's those moments of clarity that it takes everybody back when he does it.
And he sees the grandchildren.
Oh, yes, and a great-grandchild.
Oh, wonderful.
So that's what awesome. I've told him. Sometimes when he gets desperate and he says, why am I like this? Why am I in this condition? I said, because the Lord wanted you to see a great-grandchild.
That's exactly right.
The Lord wanted you to see your granddaughter get married. The Lord wanted to see you have the twins, come and tease you.
Love on you.
Yes. So.
Yeah. That's the inspiration that you can use when you know that things are not what they should be, but yet the Lord still gives us glimpses of hope. And your name's Hope.
Yes.
And I always say we need hope to cope.
Yeah, I had someone prophesy over me once and said that I was not named Hope by chance, but by divine providence. And
now you know why?
Now I know why.
Now you know why. So what would be some wisdom that you would have for someone who's walked the COVID path, that's dealing with even the loss of the loved one that they lost in 2020 and that whole time, 21, all the way through, and also those that are, dealing with someone in their home that's disabled? What would be your wisdom that you would impart?
That God never fails us, that prayer is important, that your family, if you have one, has to be an intricate part of the caring and the grieving. Not to be afraid to reach out to help, to ask for help. I think that was one of my biggest problems. I do it all person. I raised 3 kids. I had a business. So that's my mindset.
You're a go-getter.
I'm a go-getter, and so I would say, if somebody would say, "Can I help you with something?" I would say, no, I've got this. But you really do need to reach out to those that are in your circle.
And allow others to come in and support and to be in your life. I do think that when we go through grief, whether it's the grief of a life loss, the grief of someone passing away, the grief of divorce, whatever it is, that we have to let other people in. We have to let other people support. We have to turn over that and let go and let God, basically. Yeah. And
I think the thing that hit me the hardest were how people do not know how to deal with tragedy. And we had a multitude of friends, and somehow they became invisible. And how the few that did stuck in there with us,
Isn't that amazing? We experienced the same thing, where when the cards and the letters
stopped,
and the food and the condolences, and 2 or 3 months go by, and you're still stuck there with the circumstance and the pain, and you really do see who can handle it and who cannot.
And that's exactly it. People can't handle it.
No.
And so
they don't know what to say.
Yeah. I have a child that can't handle it and doesn't handle it. So I get that,
In your own family. And how do you handle that? Do you feel like it's rejection, or what is your word in that regard?
He has issues.
Okay.
Of his own that he can't deal with. So, and frankly, we've tried.
Yeah.
We
always will have family members, even our personal circle, that even we think will be there and won't. I've experienced that as well.
Oh, we have several. And some people don't know how to handle it.
They don't.
Just point. blink.
But this is the good news, that our Heavenly Father knew from the foundation of the world that this was going to happen.
Amen.
And He allowed it to happen for whatever reason. And He's the only one that matters at the end of the day. Knowing that there's redemption, there's joy, well, the verse that I wrote down for today for you is, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning.
I read that yesterday.
Oh, my dear. God is so good. Psalm 30,
Yes.
verse 5. And also, after the morning,
Joy comes.
joy comes. So that I hold on to that verse as well in my own life, because He gives us just enough for today, the portion. He gives us our portion for today. Just for today is enough, because I can't handle tomorrow's cares. I can only handle today. It's like a cell phone. You have to lay on the battery to recharge, because we can't handle, especially what we've walked through with our grief personally. We can't handle more than that. We're trying to hold a family together, maybe a job, a career,
or all of it.
or all of it. And then we have this that we didn't ask for come into our world, and our whole world is turned upside down. So we just have to turn it over to Him, because there's nothing greater than Him taking that off. He takes the burden off. And cast your cares upon the Lord. Amen. Because He cares for you.
He does.
He absolutely does. So I want to thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you for
being honest and vulnerable. Something so deep, something that you're still dealing with every day.
Every day.
And just know that, and I was so touched by what you wrote when you said, it's like a long goodbye. I thought, wow, if that doesn't put it together.
Yeah.
But just know that we love you. You're not alone.
Thank you.
And I know that your story is going to touch so many people, because there's so many people out there that have lived it. I gave the statistics earlier, and there are many, many people, maybe even in your own neighborhood you don't even know, that is dealing with a loss so great that affected so many.
Well, the minute you asked me to do this, for a split second, I thought, what? And then the Lord just told me, you need to do this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Before I walked out of your house, I knew.
Absolutely. Because people need you, Hope. They need you. They need you. They need to know that they're not alone.
Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you for joining the GriefWise podcast. And always remember that even in grief, there is growth.